What did Nathan Summers say when his Netflix subscription was canceled? I prefer cable. Welcome to Comic Book Editions Volume 272. Today I have comic books, of course, an autograph unboxing, there's a new t-shirt in my collection, a new poster, and more fun things that I'm going to share, and I'm so happy that you're here for it. This is your official welcome. Getting us started is a follow-up to last week's Comic Book Editions Volume 271 video. If you haven't had the chance to see that, I hope you will watch it. It included an A-OK from my friend, The Art of Alan Schell. And as I was thanking Alan for the great things that he sent, there was one thing I didn't mention. And he said, well, there's something else in the package that you haven't mentioned. And I'm like, I didn't see anything else. And I went back and I looked, and yeah, there was this button, which takes me all the way back to the Bronze Age with Captain O from the Olympus Sales Club. These were ads that were in a lot of Bronze and Copper Age comic books. So Olympus Sales Club would have you sell products for them to redeem either for cash or for prizes. And they had things like a baseball glove or a tent or walkie-talkies, a racetrack set, things of that nature or so. And I instantly recognized Captain O from all of the different ads that I remember from the Bronze Age in my comic books. This was a great throwback. And Signature King, if you're watching this, he sent something for you as well, but you'll have to wait until the next time that I mail an A-OK out to you to receive yours. But it's awesome. I will share that with you. Thanks again, Alan. And I did leave the link for Alan's YouTube in the description for this video. So if you haven't subbed him up, make sure to head on over there and do so. I went to a comic show already in 2026. I picked up two things. One of those is an A-OK. But the thing that I picked up for myself at the comic show, which was held at a mall just outside Milwaukee, was this X-Men Volume 1, Issue 110. This was released in 1978. Dave Cockrum doing the cover and interior art for this issue, Chris Claremont, the writer. So the villain is Warhawk, who you can see on the cover outside of the Danger Room, and he looks so much like Colossus in the face. It throws you off a little bit. But Warhawk is in there learning about the Danger Room and the X-Mansion, and Chris Claremont waits 20 issues until X-Men 130 to explain who Warhawk was working for, and it turned out to be Sebastian Shaw of the Hellfire Club. So that was a long payoff to wait to find out who it was. Other significance of this issue include Phoenix joining the X-Men team officially in this issue. This is also the first time you see the X-Men play baseball. We've seen the X-Men play baseball many times in their comic books, but this was the very first time. Back at this time period, X-Men, if you can believe it or not, was actually being published bi-monthly, meaning every other month. It wasn't even popular enough to be a monthly title, although that changed soon after this issue's release. There were a couple more bi-monthlies, and then it went into monthly. Picking this up means that I'm one book away from having a consecutive run of X-Men Volume 1 that runs from 97 through 220. The issue that I'm missing is issue 111, the issue after this. That's the one that has Banshee, or is it Arcade? No, it's Banshee. On the cover is the Carnival Barker with pictures of the Circus X-Men in the background. So that's the one I need to complete my 97 through 220. Then, if possible, I'd like to go earlier. I'd rather do something like 96, 95, 94, rather than 221, 222, or 223. But we're getting there. Checking another one off the list. Ended up picking this up for a really good price that was too good to resist. While we're talking about X-Men, take my word for it, even though it's not up on the wall, this is an X-Men poster. And it's the poster for X-Men Volume 1, Issue 136. It was John Byrne artwork, because he did the cover for that issue, Child of Light and Darkness, originally published in 1980. Now, in my comic book editions, volume 227, I had the poster for X-Men 137. I had completely forgotten that there was a poster available for issue 136. What happened was I saw a promo poster for 136 at a comic book store, and I'm like, oh, I need to have that as a poster. And as I started researching it, thinking I was going to try to pick up a promo poster that was folded, I remembered and realized in my research they actually offered an official to the public rolled version of this poster. This was incredibly hard for me to find, to be honest with you. I contacted some local comic stores. No one had it. They couldn't order it anymore. And then I started turning online, and the first place that I ordered from had every indication that I was getting the rolled poster like I wanted. But what they sent me was the folded promo poster that they got for free, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted the unrolled, or the unfolded, I should say. The rolled version unfolded is what I wanted, and I eventually ended up getting that as well. Of course, in Comic Book Editions 189, I shared with you my X-Men 130 poster that I have, the first appearance of Dazzler. I would love, and it isn't possible yet because they haven't made these, but if they make posters of the covers of the entire Dark Phoenix Saga, I would love to own those. So as we think about expanding and getting a little bit more color on the walls behind me, it's another option for the mix with my X-Men 137 poster. That was maybe the second X-Men comic book that I ever owned or read. 129 was the first, and I think 136 was the second, and it brings back some great memories. Love the cover. I am up to a moment that I'm very excited about because I shared with you last week at the end, because we kind of ran out of time to unbox this. The Hollywood show happened last month in Hollywood. They do it like 3 or 4 times a year where celebrities come through. I had made an order for 2 people, but unfortunately, I got refunded on one of those. And I'll start opening this up as I tell you about the one that I was so excited for that didn't happen. I don't know why it didn't happen. I think maybe the celebrity ended up canceling. And it was Elle Wood Walker. And you might say, well, who's that? She's an autograph I never thought I would own. She played Wonder Woman in the long-lost Wonder Woman pilot from the 1960s that never aired. And she is in her 90s, I think, lower 90s, and she was going to do the show. So I ordered one, and I just got a refund for it. I reached out to Hollywood Show 2 different times asking, well, was she not there, or was she there and you just couldn't get it for me? They never answered me. I just think that she wasn't there because I looked at some other videos from the show and I never saw a table from her, from people that were going through and giving you like a virtual tour of it. So while I was ordering, there was someone else that I thought, well, this would be really cool to get to, and I'll save on postage. Because it is an iconic person, and it does tie into superheroes, and it's someone I don't have an autograph from. And this is my first time seeing it, obviously, because I just unboxed it right now. But let's share it with you. Joan Collins, Dame Joan Collins, as the Siren from the 1960s Batman TV show with Adam West. They had a reunion of a lot of people who were in the Batman show at this last Hollywood show, but this is one I didn't want to miss out on too. Beautiful picture of her, hand-signed, of course, Dame Joan Collins, best known as playing Alexis in Dynasty, and personalized to my name, just like I like it. Beautiful picture. I am so stoked to have this. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of autographs from the Batman 66 TV series. And for someone that was a main villainess, and she was an original character for the show, this was someone I didn't have. There's a lot of people that are gone associated with that show, and a lot of people whose autographs that I am lucky to have that have since left us. But I definitely needed this for the collection. So I am stoked to finally unbox this. This has been sitting sealed for a little while in my home, and I'm like, I want to open this up and look at this, but I knew I wanted to save it for a video to do so. So I started saying that I wanted to share more of my autographs here on my channel and in my comic book editions video, and this was a perfect fit for it. So what do you think about that? I have more things to share with you in this video, but I do want to remind you as well that it's Flash February, and I have a Flash back issue of the week on my YouTube channel. A very iconic Flash comic book and cover too. So if you haven't had the chance to watch that short, which dropped yesterday morning, please check it out because I would appreciate it. Let's go next with, so last year you heard me say frequently, I'm going to buy the Superman movie when it comes out. And I'm showing you that I was a man of my word. Right before Christmas, when Black Friday and sales were going on, I found a really good deal on this, and it is factory sealed. I haven't opened it up and watched it yet, but I've been getting ready to do so. It's the 4K version. Love my 4K player. And depending on what you're seeing, either it's a lenticular cover with Clark Kent or Superman. So I've also said many times last year that I want to get the Fantastic Four movie that came out last year. That is still something I wanted to do. I just couldn't find a good Black Friday deal on it, which is why you're not seeing it yet added into my collection. But since we're talking about the Man of Steel, I got a new Superman shirt. So fly. Isn't that cool? I just saw that. I thought it was a little bit different. I like that it was in gray. And I thought, let's add this into the collection. So you'll be seeing me wear this sometime in the future in some live streams and some other future comic book editions videos as well. I did see that DC Comics announced, as we talked about on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review this past weekend, their Superman Day for this year. They're going to turn it over to Supergirl to make it the official kickoff for the summer of Supergirl, since the Supergirl movie's coming out this year. So that is pretty cool. I do need to get a Supergirl t-shirt into my collection. I have one shirt that she's on, but I want one that's just like primarily a Supergirl focus shirt. So we'll look at that in the future sometime into adding for the collection. Pretty neat, huh? It's so fly. This next thing, I completely forgot that I haven't shown this to you. Girl Squad. This was a little fabric book. It's 3 pages long, and I found it at an Aldi. And not to brag, but I read the entire book in one sitting. So we've got Supergirl and Wonder Woman on the cover, and then inside we have a page with Supergirl, we have a page with Wonder Woman, and our final page, a shocker, a twist that I didn't see coming. Was it Batgirl? Nope. Was it one of the Teen Titans? Nope. Was it Harley Quinn? Nope. You know who was on our final page? Mera. Yes, Mera. So, pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there's a little bit of the Mera that you can see, because the book's still attached to the tag. So, I was cleaning stuff up this past week, and I'm like, I haven't shown this on my channel yet, and I need to show this on my channel. There you go. Let's get back to some more comic books. Wonder Woman Volume 2, Issue 1, 1987, George Perez. You might say to yourself, because I literally did say to myself, how many copies do I need of this book? Because I looked on CLZ. I have 5 copies of issue number 1, with one of those 5 copies being signed by George Perez. I had the Millennium Edition reprint. I have the 2020 facsimile, which was a little bit of a joke because it's a wraparound cover and they didn't make it a wraparound cover. They only put the front cover for this facsimile. Then I have 4 other versions of the facsimile that was done in 2023. I have this story reprinted in the Absolute Wonder Woman by George Perez hardcover that I have. So I have, including this one, I think 12 copies of this story. But I'll tell you something else. If they would reissue this issue in treasury size, oh, I'd be all over that and snap that up in a heartbeat. What makes this one special is something that goes back to Comic Book Editions Volume 204. This is, if you haven't noticed yet, it's the second printing, no month variant. So what DC did was they used to put together these 3-packs, and they had a 3-pack of Wonder Woman, Volume 2, Issue 1, 2, and 3, that you could get all bundled together, packaged up together, and buy. They were second printings. And in that Comic Book Editions 204 is where I got issue number 3. I had known about these no-month variants, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to get them. But the more of a completist I become, the more I'm like, yeah, I need to have those. In my Comic Book Editions 205, I showed issue number 2. So I had the second printings of issues 3 and issues 2. Recently, I was at a half-price books, and I saw this one for the best price that I've seen it yet, because I've been pricing this out even recently on eBay, and this still was the better deal, and I thought, this is time to snatch this up and make sure it comes into my collection right meow. So I did. And with that, I think that's where we're going to end Comic Book Editions 272 today. What did you think about what I shared? Leave me a comment and let me know. Your comments are welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. We'll have Fanboys Live and the Retro Review coming up this upcoming Sunday, the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central. Matt from M Press Comics will be the special guest, and I'm looking forward to visiting with him. We had a great show this past weekend as well with Adam Daymare. So Fanboys Live and the Retro Review is always a fun time. Thanks for making it to the end of today's Comic Book Editions video 272. I appreciate you so much and hope you have a wonderful, happy, healthy, and successful week. I'll catch you this upcoming weekend for Fanboys Live. Take care.